we want a community. You know, I love the recovery community. And the biggest part from my life is that I didn't know how to have fun sober. I didn't in the beginning. So that's something I had to teach myself. And I realized after a while that hanging out and doing activities with sober people was incredibly rewarding.
And
So
uplifting.
yeah, and you know what? We go on these vacations, we go on these excursions with sober people. You build these connections that you have for life, and that's what we want. We want a life that we can build these amazing connections with, and just enjoy each other's company for the rest of our lives. So
Yeah,
you know, but you're right. It's not an Expedia. It's not a big box store vacation company. You contact us, you say you're interested, we interview you.
like a club, right? It's like a club.
Right.
It's a club.
Yeah.
And like some of the people that we've done excursions with before, they're our best friends now. So we're texting and video calling, and when we go to those places, those are the people that we see, because we now have more than just an online presence with them. We've built lifelong friends. And I think something that I found to be really amazing with the sober community is the openness. So when you're with a group of people that want to go and drink and have fun, it's almost difficult to say, well, we don't drink and this is why. But when you're in that community of a group of people, your stories, like the heart that comes out and the emotion that comes out and the respect that comes out is beautiful.
Yeah.
So we wanted to capture that and kind of bring that more to life, I think.
Yeah, it's deep, it's intimate. There is
It
no
is deep.
face value to it, you know? It's just, you actually connect with these people, and they're recovered people are the most honest people on the earth.
Hello and welcome to another exclusive interview by Recovery Today Magazine at recoverytodaymagazine.com, where first and foremost, we're a magazine of hope. Whether you're considering addiction recovery for yourself, a loved one, or you're actively in recovery, maybe a little while or a long, long time, you're going to find all kinds of information and topics related to addiction, recovery, really living a happy, successful, sober life at Recovery Today. My name is Rob Hanley. I'm the editor-in-chief of Recovery Today, and I am joined by two really, really cool guests who are doing something really, really cool for the sober community. And it actually has to do with about having a happy, successful, sober life. I think that it's going to be actually something that's really, really big. Quick little background into their story. The first person here is Nicholas Hennink. He is a licensed advanced care paramedic, and he's also a mental health advocate. And his story is, after personally suffering PTSD as a first care responder and suffering through addictions, he started a campaign called We Are Warriors, where he used his talent in music to create heartfelt rock songs as a voice of hope to those who suffer mental turmoil, PTSD, depression, and addiction. His song Warriors is still being played today by the U.S. Army to support the troops. And his beautiful partner, his better half, Sheena, is a holistic health coach and a life coach. She's also a travel agent, and who has taken her passions and turn them into a business. That's what we're going to talk about today, something really, really cool. She's always had a passion for travel, whether it was day hikes, impromptu type things, up to year-long backpacking adventures. And together, they put together something. I love it. It's a life by design, which I think is so cool. They've launched a company. I think it's going to be really big. It's called Sober Excursions. Welcome, guys. Thanks for jumping on.
Oh, you're welcome, Rob. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man. So let's get right into it. People, I got to say, people like to talk about vacations more than just about anything. It's like one of their favorite kind of subjects. I mean, it's like nobody is, kind of long face or, not like drudgery. Like before you go, everybody's telling each other like where they're going to go, what they're going to do, what it's about. Like in terms of like a business, like unless you're selling puppies or something like that, there's like almost nothing that you could do that is kind of a happier business. So kind of, I started to go through your story a little bit, but one little paragraph doesn't do justice. So kind of take us back, first of all, to not about what the business is, but a little bit to who you are and how this kind of came to be. Because first responder and a paramedic is, I get the travel part from Sheena. It seems like she's just lucky. But from a paramedic to this, it seems a little different. So take us through your story a little bit.
Well, Rob, you know what? I worked in EMS for about 17 years. I love my job. I really do. Became an advanced care paramedic. And unfortunately, because of the job and the things I've seen and things I've done, it infected me in a way. I ended up with PTSD. I used alcohol as a coping mechanism to, counteract those symptoms that I had. But just like we all know, it worked at first, but then it just ended up taking my life to a really dark place. When I started going through recovery, I started realizing that there's so much more to life than just those dark moments. So we wanted to do something that was outside of EMS. I decided to leave EMS because it really was just hurting me in the end. And we created Sober Excursions so we can live our lives in recovery, but also live it in a fun way, a fun and exciting way, because we don't have to live it in stress. We don't have to live it in pain. Recovery is exciting. It's fun.
First off, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Sheena, because I know that you've got lots and lots to say. I really enjoyed talking with you before. But, the first thing I was going to say is, as a first responder, I want to say thank you. I'm the kind of person, and at least now I think there's a big movement for people to say thank you to first responders. And because without it, like, we'd all be really, really screwed. But we know that there's stress that you go through, whether you're a doctor, an ER nurse, or whatever it might be, or a paramedic, fireman, but you don't really see the after effects that often. We haven't talked about it that often in recovery today, and it takes a toll.
Yeah, you know what? It's, PTSD is not really spoken about. That stigma is still there. I think only within the last 5 years, the world has really opened up about what happens to you after you've been working in this industry.
You've seen some stuff.
Yeah, I have to say, like, eventually you're going to see it all.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my students every time. Eventually you're going to see it all, and you have to deal with it. There's no ways you're walking away from this with a clean conscience. So you have to know that. So you have to be prepared to deal with these emotions eventually. And in the past, we didn't do it. We bottled everything up, and we exploded when we were older, and we just ended up injuring ourselves or other people. So, yeah.
When you were a kid, were you serviced kind of others oriented, thinking about others, or just to kind of get into the mind a little bit of somebody that would be a fireman or a paramedic? Were you thinking like, I'm gonna be somebody that helps other people?
Honestly, I just liked the lights and the sirens, and I loved wearing a uniform, and I thought that was going to be cool.
I liked him wearing a uniform too.
Part of the paramedic life, and then it becomes the part of the story. As I remember, we were talking, is like, it just became untenable to having PTSD, because I'm thinking, like, you got to have some kind of way to charge your batteries constantly, because every single thing that you give is, and especially if you have empathy for people, it takes a toll. So at some point you guys make a decision and say, like, this is not going to work anymore. Like, how did that happen and come about?
Well, honestly, Sheena was there for me when I went through a really bad time in my life. And she knew right in the beginning. I didn't know it, but she's like, you know what, you need something else, because you have that cup and you've just been pouring out to everybody else, and you're not filling it up with anything for yourself. And it's really difficult to get into that mindset that I need to start doing things for myself. Branching out, recovery, helping other people is amazing. It really is. But you got to start feeling that joy and happiness yourself. And yeah.
His personality isn't someone that looks like, he doesn't want to take that on himself. He wants to give. So when you're trying to tell someone you need to stop giving all the time and start working on yourself, it's a push-pull kind of thing. So it needs to be done, but you're almost dragging them out of the mud at the same time.
Yeah.
The happiest we've been is literally when we're doing something, like when we're out, when we're going on a hike, when we're going on a road trip to BC.
Yeah.
So those little things where it's like these amazing moments of joy, if you can capture them, how do you build your life around something that's going to constantly bring that to you? And my background, I'm through and through an entrepreneur. I build businesses, and if I could build a business that's going to make us completely happy all the time, as well as build a community, as well as keep them in recovery, as well as give back as well as sharing what we love to do, what better way to do it than to become a travel agent and make that a business?
I totally am in love with that whole idea. And I find, I mean, I'm quite a bit older than you guys. I mean, you know, and so you're very much like your whole, like, I'm going to plan everything out, lifetime. And I love that people now are really looking very intentionally, like, not like I want to be a butcher, baker, candlestick maker, but like, what do I want my life? What do I want to do to make money? Because we have to buy groceries and do things.
Yeah.
What do I want to do that's going to, this is what I want, the kind of life that I want. And then what can I make out of the thing? So I love that. Like, you know, we can be absurd, you know, let's check all the boxes and then brainstorm to create something, right? I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
So let's jump a little bit, I guess, into the, you know, into what it is, because people have heard of sober vacations. There's places that you can go on cruises and things like that. And I know that there's some kind of overlap to those kind of things, but this is actually an excursion. So talk a little bit about like what's different. And first of all, and this is for sober people. So this isn't hedonism or hedonism or whatever it is, or all you can drink or eat or the booze, you know. So this is a sober excursion. I want to really emphasize that with people that are in recovery. Sheena, I know that you're not in recovery of yourself for substance abuse or non-substance abuse, but you're Al-Anon, if I remember from your story, right? So, but this is for sober people overall. What's the difference between excursions and vacations? And talk a little bit about that.
So we wanted to do something that was, one, affordable to everyone, really. But we want to do something that also was fun all the time. We're having fun. The more downtime that you seem to have, the more your head can go, the more you can get in your own brain. So we wanted to also do something that was, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me.
Yeah, community building, basically.
And so we can do things that are 2 hours or 3 hours long to things that are a week or two long. So maybe we're going to go to a business, we're going to take a group of people out and we go hiking, or we go trail riding, or there's a company that we're partnering with in BC that,
in BC, you're in Canada, British Columbia, BC.
Right, sorry, yeah, British Columbia. We're in Saskatchewan.
Kind of mindset. That's okay. That's okay.
It's far, far away from us. So we're partnering with different companies throughout everywhere, actually, not just North America. But to give these little adventures. So it could be an adventure that lasts an entire week, which is a full-on itinerary-based vacation with excursions throughout, or it could be something that's 2 or 3 hours with a group of people that we're taking out and having fun, sober fun. That, you know, usually it's a group that when you, well, say you take your staff out, it's usually filled with appies and drinks and stuff. Well, we want to do the fun things with those groups of people, but remove the drinks and the temptation, still have the fun and still be able to apply all of the same things and build a community at the same time.
Basically a vacation, a sober vacation with excursions part of it. So
yes. So you're doing something while you're there.
Exactly.
So I really like that. There's one thing that we were talking about a little bit. I was kind of going through your website and then our conversation, and there's 3 things that you had said: recovery, community, and making friends for life. And talk a little bit about that, like how you envision that in terms of what this is overall, because this isn't Expedia, this isn't Travelocity, this isn't going to TripAdvisor and typing in sober vacation. This is actually something that's very custom, very unique. I see it really, like, I love the part that was about making friends for life. Tell me a little bit about that kind of a thing.
Well, we want a community. You know, I love the recovery community. And the biggest part from my life is that I didn't know how to have fun sober. I didn't in the beginning. So that's something I had to teach myself. And I realized after a while that hanging out and doing activities with sober people was incredibly rewarding.
And
So
uplifting.
yeah, and you know what? We go on these vacations, we go on these excursions with sober people. You build these connections that you have for life, and that's what we want. We want a life that we can build these amazing connections with, and just enjoy each other's company for the rest of our lives. So
Yeah.
you know, but you're right. It's not an Expedia. It's not a big box store vacation company. You contact us, you say you're interested, we interview you.
Like a club, right? It's like a club.
Right.
It's a club.
Yeah.
And like some of the people that we've done excursions with before, they're our best friends now. So we're texting and video calling, and when we go to those places, those are the people that we see, because we now have more than just an online presence with them. We've built lifelong friends. And I think something that I found to be really amazing with the sober community is the openness. So when you're with a group of people that want to go and drink and have fun, it's almost difficult to say, well, we don't drink and this is why. But when you're in that community of a group of people, your stories, like the heart that comes out and the emotion that comes out and the respect that comes out is beautiful.
Yeah.
So we wanted to capture that and kind of bring that more to life, I think.
Yeah, it's deep, it's intimate. There is
It
no
is deep.
face value to it, you know? It's just, you actually connect with these people, and they're recovered people are the most honest people on the earth. They will tell you what's going on in their lives, and I love hearing it. I don't get sick of hearing someone's recovery story.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I laugh when you say that. I was thinking of actually one of our covers. I've had it so many times, so many different ways. It was one of our covers. It was Dave's Killer Bread Guy. I love the guy's bread. The greatest bread ever. He was our cover about a year ago. And I remember asking him a story, asking him a question. It was so indicative of what you're saying right now. Like, I asked him something, and he started to answer him, and he stopped, and he goes, "You want to know the real answer?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, hell yeah, like bring it, man. Like, what is it?" And then I thought about it later, and part of my ADD brain, as I was listening to his answer, I'm like, the funniest thing is, like, about people in recovery is you want to come clean, like you want to be transparent, you want to actually tell the real thing, like you don't want to be surface. So I find the whole idea of like, hey, let's put together a club of sober people where we can, you know, you can talk the normal stuff that you talk, whatever that might be, sports or business, whatever it might be. But you can really get into some deep shit too that is helpful for other people. I find that recovery community, the ability to connect on such a more deep, meaningful way is very appealing. So I love this. I mean, so tell us about some of the places that you're going to go and some of the things that you're going to do and doing.
Well, the next trip that we're going to do is in Lake Louise, Banff on the 29th.
Right away.
Which we're fully booked already, which is awesome. We have about
those
10
who don't know,
couples.
by the way, you have to Google Lake Louise or BAMF. Is that right? Banff? BAMF. Sorry.
BANFF.
BAN, not Banff. BAN like Nancy, Banff.
Yeah.
So this is one of the, if there was like a picture of heaven, this would be part of it. It is so ridiculously amazing. So that's one of the places that you're going. Of course, you're Canadian, so.
So you say that.
People from
it's
the
really
States
far.
Yeah.
So the people that we have coming on that one, they're traveling up to 10 hours to come. Yeah, so it really speaks to the community, the place, the quality as well. People are willing to come that far, and it's only a one-night excursion. So for the one day, we're doing a group kayak, group canoe, or kayak or canoe, whichever happens, and then we're doing a group hike. We've got a catered meal, so we're actually having literally a chef come in and cook a catered meal for us. And then we have the resort is stunning.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, stunning.
I'm gonna move in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the most beautiful lake by the most pointy, kick-ass, rocky, gigantic mountains all around. The lake is like a blue. I mean, it's pretty spectacular.
It's beautiful. And then in the evening, we're gonna have our meeting. And then we also have breakfast the next day. And then basically we're packing up and saying our goodbyes and leaving. So that's the excursion part of it. It is a quick, fast get together, have fun. It's not a week or 2 weeks. It's
just for this one.
Yeah.
Then we're going to Vegas. We really opened the
real
borders.
quick, though, the meeting is actually, it's a typical 12-step meeting, right? It's you have a meeting. Yep.
Yeah.
So okay.
And you can join or not join. It's not a mandatory thing. It's definitely there if you need it.
What about spouses, or I mean, if somebody's married to somebody that's a normie or something like that, that's not okay.
So we will run an Al-Anon meeting if needed, or we can go do something. So we're welcome to go have coffee before we went and had snacks.
Yeah.
And we just sit and talk. So it's not something that's mandatory. It's not something that you have to be uncomfortable about. We're open, pretty easy to get along with.
The spouses aren't kicked out of the room like, okay, go figure out what you're going to do with your lives now while we have this meeting. It's, it's everyone's connected. So
we all get along.
All right. So tell me about a couple others too, because I know the Lake Louise is really killer. What else are you going to do?
We're doing Vegas in November. Vegas is one of the hardest spots to stay sober that I've realized.
It's not like the top of the list for like thinking of places to stay sober.
Yeah. But you know what? You still love Vegas. Like we still want to go. So that was.
And being with sober people, it takes it away. You are accountable. So you go as a group.
What are you going to do in Vegas? There's killer dining and stuff like that. There's great. What else are you going to do? I mean, I've been to Vegas. I've been sober a long time. I've been to Vegas many, many times. I like Vegas. But what are you guys? What's on the agenda there for that kind of thing?
Well, you and I are going to talk first.
She's going to try to recruit you to come to Vegas. You know that,
right? So we rented a villa instead of being in the casinos or the resorts there. So we actually rented a private villa. There's room there for, I believe,
16.
Yeah, 16 people. So couples or singles, it doesn't matter. We have a couple tours that are actually going to be booked. We have a chef coming in and doing a private dinner. So it'll be a really nice, intimate private dinner. The house has a pool and a hot tub and a fire pit. So we're going to utilize the heck out of those. Yeah. We have, what else did we have?
Got two excursions. Once again, excursions. So the excursions in Vegas is shows. Yeah. So we're going to Carrot Top. We have that booked up. And we're also going to Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, which I've been wanting to go see for a long time. So that's a pump. That's one for me that I'm excited about.
That sounds really awesome. There's so many things, actually. I mean, people think of just gambling and drinking and partying in Vegas. Yeah. There's actually so many things to do there.
Exactly.
And actually, outdoor things. The Red Rocks is kick-ass. What about international? I mean, obviously, we're talking now from Canada, the U.S., Mexico. What other kind of stuff are you going to go to exotic islands? What other kind of stuff are you doing?
Well, we have Puerto Vallarta for January.
And
February. Hopefully we're going to do 2. With January for sure. We have about 20 people. We'd like to be under 20 people.
Yeah, I was going to how many people? Is that what a normal group is, under 20?
Yeah, I think so. Like 20 people is comfortable. It's a good group. And we booked out a villa just on the outskirts of Puerto Vallarta. It's about 5 minutes from the central. And then we have 2 amazing excursions that are going to be booked. We have a representative on the ground in Puerto Vallarta, so we can go do tours.
What are you going to do? Are you going to cruise around the city? Are you going to go scuba diving? What is it?
So one thing that we have is what was that boat called? A houseboat?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Like a catamaran or a houseboat booked as well. So we're going to actually be taking people out on the lake. It's not a lake.
It's an ocean.
It's an ocean. So having someone on the ground there actually gives us a little bit more of an advantage to the things that we can do. It's not necessarily, again, the big box store Google search things that we're going to do. She's actually put together actual tours. Again, we've got the villa has 2 private chefs on site. So we're going to again have the private meals and everything as well. We've got the pool, the hot tub, the fire pit out there. We were looking at snorkeling. There was a cave exploration thing. It was like 4 hours long. Yeah, it's a 7-day trip, and there's always 2 excursions. But I mean, if we can sneak some more in there, we're happy to do it.
Yeah, and that's all included.
That I think is really, really, really amazing. So, I mean, everything I'm hearing is like a chef or this, that, and the other. The thing I'm kind of picking up is not only the concierge type of thing, like, hey, it's full service, or hey, it's all very catered. But what I'm thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you're also eliminating things that could possibly be stumbling blocks. Like I heard you say, like in Vegas, we're not staying at the Mandalay Bay. We're not staying at something like that. Like there's all the practical side of what we're going to do to protect your sobriety, at the same time provide a killer service. Is that
No,
intentional or just
you're absolutely right. It's once again, it's a community for us, and we want the community to be comfortable, and we have to think about sobriety as one of our number one goals. So that's why we always book off-site. It's always beautiful to be off-site. It's way more comfortable. There's not like a major bunch of people walking around all the time. And yeah, the temptation is away from us. So if we go to Port Vallarta in a private villa, there's not going to be any booze. There's not going to be any way for you to bring in booze.
Yeah.
So the sobriety is there. It's not accessible. I mean, you have to go out of your way.
Yeah, the sobriety is there. The community is there. The meetings are there. The fun is there. The itinerary is pretty full as well. So you don't actually have like 5 or 6 hours to go wander off and do something. You don't have to follow the itinerary either, but it is there. Like I know for us, like being busy is always best. So we like to plan a full day.
So this is a silly question. I already know the answer to, but I really want to spotlight it. Like you, obviously, the two of you are on every one of your excursions right now. Do you see a time where eventually you won't be on every one? Like how many? It sounds like there's one every other month, or what do you see the frequency of this going to? Because this isn't something that's been going for years and years already.
He doesn't have to go on all of them, but I know I will.
Oh, not a chance. Yeah, for now we're going on all the trips ourselves, but you're right. Eventually we want to branch out and have small groups happening all over the place at the same time. So we'll have trusted people that we've already built relationships with, that they can also start guiding trips for us in different areas with the same goal in mind, same mindset. And yeah, that's our goal in the future. And we can see it happening.
Tell me a little bit about connecting with people that are local, that are on the ground. You call them people on the ground. What's that about? Are they always sober, not sober? You just want somebody that's competent, because they're kind of there to scout things out and to help you out as well, right?
Recovery is important to us.
They're what?
I find sorry.
No, go ahead.
So we put out some feelers looking for some people, and actually a lot of people have just also contacted us saying that they are willing to help. So we do the interview process. For us, being in recovery is very important, and the reason for that is me going into a facility is not going to, I'm not going to see the things that Nick is going to see. Like, so I don't know all the triggers. I don't know things that are maybe going to be an issue where he would pick that up.
Yeah.
So to me to us, I think that was number one. We also don't want judgment. We don't want people to ever feel unsafe or feel like they're in a judging, what's the word? Like
environment?
Yeah. So we want to keep it in recovery, or like an Al-Anon member or something like that, where it is a community. Again, there's been a lot of people that have reached out that just looking for travel, like, hey, I want to work for you, I want to go traveling. That's just not what we're after.
Now, the activities that you're doing, they're not like extreme. You're not doing jumping, you're not doing crocodile fighting or whatever it is type of stuff. Your excursions might be like, do you even do stuff like ATV riding, or even is that probably too much?
We haven't yet. We actually just are looking at partnering with someone in British Columbia that has segways.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's been our most dangerous thing. Yeah, we might go segwaying. But again, if we put the group together and the group isn't someone or a team that wants to go segwaying, I will find something else.
Yeah,
I'm pretty resourceful.
Yeah, but safe ones, because I'm not jumping up things that I refuse to do. So yeah, it's safe, it's comfortable, and it's usually family orientated too.
Oh, good. Actually, people, I'm assuming for the most part, people are not bringing their kids, or are they going to? How do you envision that happening as well?
We want to do both.
Yeah.
We are actually planning on both of those things. So
Okay.
the one vacation or the one excursion in Puerto Vallarta in January is for singles or couples, no children. But the next one we were looking at doing in February, we're looking at actually having more of a family vacation. Again, we both have children, so we would like to bring them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to ask this one a little bit, is because we're talking about an audience that you're speaking to now, your clients would be, you guys yourself, is we're talking about mental illness, okay? So how do you keep somebody that's crazy or likely to go off the rails or something like that from, like, I mean, it's one thing to be at a meeting and have somebody go like, okay, well, that ruined the meeting, but now you're going to travel or something like that. What is the process? Because this really is a club. So talk to me a little bit about a fit and this kind of stuff that we were talking about before.
Well, it's, you know, you can't go on the website and just order a vacation and pay for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way with us. It's you contact, yeah, exactly. You contact us and say, hey, I'm interested in coming to this vacation. There's an interview process. We have to get to know you first. So we do have Zoom calls. We chat with them for an hour or two. We continuously email them. We figure them out. You know, you're right. Because, yeah, you have to build that relationship. And then we also have a community online. So once you go,
I mean, you're looking for friends, right? You're looking for friends. So obviously, the thing that's cool about you guys is, like, you seem, you're good looking, nice, friendly, happy kind of looking kind of people. So somebody's already going to have that kind of vibe, but they're all going to connect with you ahead of time and think like, yeah, you look like you'd be pretty cool. Like, I go to Puerto Vallarta with you. You sound like you're cool people, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the interview process is.
Have you had to tell anybody, hey, I don't think this is a fit, or anything? Oh, you have. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You figure it out pretty quickly, and especially in recovery, you figure it out pretty quickly, and you're like, okay, this person he's not going to jive with the rest of the group, right? And then we have an online community, so once they're going on a trip with us, they're invited to a group on Facebook, and they can chat with the other people that are going on the excursion. So you're going to get to know people before you even go. That's what we mean by community.
I just love it. It's kind of like a what you see is what you get. Go ahead. I cut you off. I apologize.
No, it's good.
Okay.
I was going to say both of us have, I think, the skill to mingle and to mesh with people, but we also are both comfortable saying that this isn't for you. One of the things that we decided very early on was that the group as a whole is the number one priority. So the mental health and the wellness and the sobriety of the entire group is number one, not so much that we're going to hurt one person's feelings. Right? Like, so if one person decides on a trip that they are going to actually go out and they are going to abuse something, they will be removed from the site, because that one person is not going to infect the entire group as a whole.
So they sign something that says, I agree, I agree, I agree, all the way through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's very important. Most people agree to signing, and you know what? It keeps their accountability is very important.
Yeah. I love it because people want to be, we need to be able to go on some kind of an outing, a vacation, excursion, get out, especially now with everything that's been going on, that now that places are starting to open back up, that people really need to get back out. And the whole idea that, hey, we're just a bunch of people that like each other, all this stuff is provided for us, but we also, I assume that the group kind of even almost, I don't want to say holds each other accountable because they don't really know each other, but maybe from a what they agree to integrity perspective, or I don't know.
Having that, well, so one of my previous positions, I'm a life coach and a health coach, and basically accountability is my middle name. So I like that part, and I'm pretty good at being on top of things and motivation. And as a group, when you put a group of people together that all want the same goal, it's very, very unlikely that one person.
It's like a voluntary right? Like they're agreeing. It's permission based. That's what the word I'm using, right? Or thinking of, permission based.
Yeah.
It's strengthening the group, right? It's complete strength in the group. Individually, it's really hard, but that's why you can never do it alone. You do it in a group, people just have the strength. They're just like, oh, you know what? I don't even want to drink.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be around anything.
What happens after they go? Like, do you see people going back again and again and again? Do you have like an alumni group? Is there a private Facebook group or something like that? Or
we want that. Yeah. You know, we're an early company still. We truly want that. Many people come back to us and say, you know what, I'm totally in for the next one. Email us. So yeah, we're going to have some priority in that way. So if you've come on a group, you've meshed well, you enjoyed yourself, there's no reason for us not to put you on the top of the list and say, you know what, you're definitely welcome back. So we're going to be sending alumni. I like the word alumni.
Yeah.
Trips first. First interested. If they're not, we'll start going to interview processes again. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, all that you're doing is making friends, a group of friends, and then putting these friends together and going on trips together.
On trips.
Yeah.
What a hard life.
It is. That's hard. And I come back around to kind of like the life by design. Like, you know what? We want to give service to others, but being a paramedic is too much. Like, it's not working right now. What do we want to do? We like to travel. We like this. We like that. Real good, man. So how can people get back? We'll have everything in the feature here, but like, let's do like how do people get to you? How do they get to your website? All that kind of stuff.
Well, they can go to www.soberexcursions.ca because it's Canada. But that doesn't mean that it's a Canadian company. Like, we are catering to North America. Mm-hmm. So they can definitely go on there and then book with us. Email us, bookings at soberexcursions.ca.
We're on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
bookings at soberexcursions.ca.
Sober Excursions, EXCURSIONS.ca. Sober Excursions. We'll make sure we have it in here. Really, really cool stuff. If somebody can get to Banff, you're already full for Banff. Well, I guess we're
full for Banff, unfortunately, but we're going for Vegas. So
fun, and also I think Puerto Vallarta would be great too.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
You guys, I think that it's really cool what you're doing, and I like the, it's like. I like the simplicity of it. It's just a bunch of friends are going to get together sober. We're going to go and have a good time, and they don't have to worry about anything. You do all the screening, you do all the food, all the stuff. All they got to do is just show up and be friends. Good stuff, guys. Well, thanks so much for jumping on.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Rob. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I knew our community would absolutely want to know about this. And so if you want to, if you're interested in learning more information, learning more about this, go to soberexcursions.ca. We'll also have all the social and all the stuff in here. And appreciate it, guys. So this has been Nick and Sheena of Sober Excursions. And this is
Thank you.